Hey, President Trump speaking with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky as U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff prepares for a very important round of peace talks in Moscow tomorrow. And President Trump is looking to cripple Russian oil profits if Putin ignores his.
That's what I had said yesterday. That one the news place didn't talk about. Trump's going to implement tariffs that are going to cripple Putin, not to mention that he moved the nuclear subs into the area around Russia. So it puts Russia in nuclear striking range.
Friday deadline. Remember, he said 10 days ago, tomorrow. Now they've got 10 days, not longer than that anymore, to come up with a plan to end the war in Ukraine.
Putin will stop killing people if you get energy down another $10 a barrel. He's going to have no choice because his economy stinks.
With that, we bring in General Jack Keane, retired four-star.
Bro is playing with fire. Now, I do think that Russia is obviously the aggressor because they're trying to take the Ukraine. And the only reason why we're even doing it this way, as opposed to doing what happened in what's the name of that fucking place? So, like, Israel and Iran, they were able to take out targets inside of buildings using missiles, like tactical missiles, that went into the apartment building, blew up the apartment, and took out targets. And then you also had what happened to their nuclear facilities because they were the aggressor. We can't do that with Russia, because Russia is a superpower, meaning it has nukes. So any attack on Russia is grounds for war. And whether it's nuclear or, ground, either one of these is really bad. Because when you do that, it's not just Russia you have to deal with. You have to deal with a lot of countries.
General, chairman at the Institute for the Study of War and Fox News senior strategic analyst. General, always good to have you with us.
This could either be World War III or a nuclear war.
Your thoughts on that comment and on Witkoff's meeting and how significant this is as we get close to the end of the 10-day window that Trump recently shortened it to for Russia?
Well, it's quite significant, Martha. I mean, the president, has made.
Trump is trying to cripple Russia's oil and gas by putting tariffs that will raise the cost of gas and oil like 10x to try and cripple them.
Two critical decisions recently. One is to increase the military assistance from the United States to Ukraine, and also take the American taxpayer off the table in terms of funding that. The Europeans are going to fund it. It's our equipment. They're going to give it to the Ukrainians, and much more of that to follow. And then the second thing is what we're talking about this week, and that is likely Putin, I doubt, is going to come to the table and agree to a temporary ceasefire, which is the major condition, and likely the president's going to impose tariffs and sanctions. And what's Putin up to here? I mean, he tried to break the president's will and resolve here by dragging out the negotiations, frustrating him, and he wanted the president to walk away, to sort of give up on this. And he's trying to do the same thing with Zelensky by escalating the war on the people and killing more people every single day as a result of that escalation, so that the people would put pressure on Zelensky to break his will and give up and make major concessions. Quite the opposite has happened. The president has doubled down in the sense he's not breaking his will, certainly. He increased his resolve here to pursue Putin and force him to the negotiating table. And the people in Ukraine are.
You see, the problem that I can see with this is that Putin wants that land. The question is what is he willing to do to get it? Because this is what, the third time now we've come to the treaty table, and the first two times we got nowhere. Like, what are we doing at this point? Like, it seems kind of like we're fighting somebody who, or we're not fighting. We are trying to make bread with somebody who is not willing to make bread with you. They're eating steak. So, and I don't necessarily think that this is it's just not gonna end well. And like you can't necessarily blame Putin because the Ukraine was originally Russia's land, but at the same time that was so long ago. Let me see. When did Russia give up the Ukrainian land? Maybe I'm wrong. I heard it from somebody who lived over there. Ukraine National, Russian Revolution, World War One. The Ukrainian National Consensus and calls for autonomy or independence following Russian Revolution. World War One, Ukraine briefly declared independence as the Ukrainian People Republic, being part of the Soviet Union as the Ukrainian USSR. So they were part of the USSR. Not USSR, SSR. But then they declared independence. So,
Quite remarkable.
it does make you wonder, because they joined Russia originally. Like, what happened?
They all would vote tomorrow to end the war if it could end. But at the same time, they have united.
Why does Russia want this land so damn bad? Why does Russia want the Ukraine so bad? February 20, the Russo-Ukrainian War began February 2014 and is ongoing following Ukraine's revolution of dignity. Russia occupied and annexed Crimea from Ukraine. It then supported Russia's paramilitary, who began a war in the eastern Donbas region against Ukrainian military. Relations between the two countries became hostile after 2014 Ukrainian Revolution, which was followed by Russia's annexation of Crimea from Ukraine, and the war in Donbas, in which Russia blocked the separatist fighters of the Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic. So there's been blood boiling there for a while. And I guess Putin and the Ukrainian people are just done with each other. And, whenever you're right next to them, I could see how this is a problem. You see, 2,000 years ago, this would have been solved pretty easily by just letting them fight it out and seeing who gets the land, honestly. Like, at this point, it kind of seems like they're just not compatible together. So they should do like what North and South Korea do and like have a border where no one's allowed to cross. Like, let's be honest here.
And they're making no demands on Zelensky other than he keep as much corruption out of his government as possible. But they're supporting his efforts and being steadfast against the Russians. So where are we? Well, we know
we're in limbo, and we're stuck trying to figure out who's going to fork the bill. That's where we're at.
It is a one commodity economy, Martha. It's about oil, to a lesser degree, gas. Mm-hmm. And we know these major countries are buying it at reduced prices that are helping Putin. Putin has gone to a war-fighting economy. And that means everything he's putting into, not totally, but just about all of it, is to make certain he has the war-fighting materials. If that revenue begins to go down dramatically, and it will, not immediately, but it will, in time, that revenue is not going to be there for him to be able to produce the products he needs to sustain himself in the war.
Yep.
And that is a major issue.
I want to ask you about this. in terms of who's buying cheap Russian oil, we know India's on that list. President not too happy with the way that that's rolling out. I want to ask you about this, though. Zelensky saying that mercenaries from, we had heard about North Korea, China, Pakistan, and parts of Africa are all fighting alongside Russia right now. And then you've got on the other side of the coin, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and the Netherlands all helping Ukraine. That's a lot of countries now involved on either side of this equation. And then
Jesus Christ. So yeah, like what countries are backing what countries are backing
just
Russia?
moments ago, the State Department's approving a potential sale of repair and sustainment support.
Hold on. What countries are backing what countries are backing Russia in the Ukrainian war? While the Ukrainian war is primarily between Ukraine and Russia, several countries have publicly or discreetly provided support to Russia. This includes Belarus, which allows Russia forces to operate from its territory. Additionally, North Korea has been directly supplying Russia with troops, weapons, and ammunition. Iran has also been providing Russia with military support, primarily the form of drones. China, while not directly providing weapons, has become a key enabler of Russia's war efforts through its no limits partnership and support for Russia's defense industry. So they have just about the same amount of people. This could be another World War scale event. Why is it always on that side of the fucking world? Like, what's going on here, guys? Is it like the climate? Are you guys just pissy with each other because of the climate? Like, what's going on with the other side of the world? Why are people so aggro over there?
For the howitzer
3 times now
gun,
this
so
has
that's
happened.
More $203 million coming from the U.S.
You guys think I'm kidding? This could be World War III. This could be another world war.
I know that's a lot, but
We could literally be witnessing history unrolling as we speak.
Quick thought on how these two sides are lining up, if you can, General.
Yeah, well, the thing that's been very encouraging are the Europeans. I mean, people thought the Europeans were going to fold early on, and they haven't. They have said at the last meeting in Rome, money is not going to be an object for us. Mm-hmm. We are all in on this. We are going to make certain that this turns out right. And you can see these countries are really stepping up and want to do as much as they possibly can for Ukraine. That is encouraging, and certainly what the president is doing with the United States, I think, is going to be quite decisive in the long run.
Yeah, they've stepped up in a way under this.
This is going to be crazy to actually watch. This is going to be crazy.